Previously on the road, we crossed into Mauritania, navigating border bureaucracy before leaving the tarmac behind and driving straight into the Sahara. Stuck vehicles became part of the routine as the sand tested our patience, skill, and teamwork. We learned the rules of desert driving: make your own path, maintain momentum, and never lose contact. The adventure has truly begun, and the desert is only just warming up. It's been a day full of adrenaline, but as the sun begins to sink, the heat finally loosens its grip. Lizards slip across the cooling sand, and it's a reminder that even here, in what feels like emptiness, life thrives. This little lizard is perfectly adapted to the harsh world. This reminds us that the desert is never truly still. It simply waits for the right moment to move. And now it's time for us to slow down and make camp. We begin setting up our traditional Arab tents, ropes secured firmly into the sand, canvas stretched carefully across the poles. It feels symbolic, a shelter rooted in centuries of desert survival, standing strong against wind and emptiness. As you can see right behind me is the tent we actually stayed last night and we'll be staying today. Thank God for some beautiful people over here that we've met, and like I've said before, everything's been spontaneous and they've actually lent us this beautiful place I'm calling home for the next 3 nights. As night falls, so does the temperature. The heat of the day disappears quickly, replaced by a biting cold that creeps in with the darkness. Around us, the Sahara grows silent. Above us, the sky explodes with stars, brighter and clearer than most of us have ever seen. We wake at dawn, and by now we know the drill. Pack early, move before the heat of the midday sun tightens its grip. It's our 3rd day in the desert, and the routine feels familiar, but the toll is starting to show. The cars have taken a beating. Suspensions creak, engines strain, panels rattle from relentless vibrations over sand and rock. Minor repairs are already underway.
In the morning we hit a pothole on the road, and our shock support is gone, so it's like in pieces, and our shock is like wobbling around and hitting the body of the car. And now we're trying to check it out and see what we can do. Maybe add some glue or anything, maybe another nut or a spacer. Yeah, we'll try to make it so the car will last a couple more days. Yeah. It's not critical, but the sound is horrible. Yeah. So we're just trying to make it like last a bit longer. But this kind of riding is new for me. Like riding in the sand is really unique for me. I never tried it. And I heard about this event like 8 years ago. 8 years ago, I was in Morocco with my friends. We were hiking to the Toubkal, going to the desert. And when I was doing research about Morocco, I somehow I don't actually remember how, but I found about this event, the Dakar Challenge, and I thought, wow, this is really interesting, and I want to really do it. And 8 years later, I'm here with my best friend here. So yeah, enjoying the desert.
But not everything can be fixed with a spanner and determination. Some cars need urgent attention. No quick fixes, no improvisation. This time, we need professional help. So reluctantly, some teams leave the dunes behind. The sand gives way to rough track, and then finally to road. We retreat briefly, not in defeat, but in survival, as we make our way to the nearest garage. We arrive at the nearest town. Don't ask me where we are. It feels like the middle of nowhere. Truly, no landmarks, no signposts, just dust, a few buildings, and the sense that we stumbled upon a place lost in time. But what we do find is exactly what we need: a makeshift garage. It's primitive, widely basic, metal sheets for walls, scattered tools, no computers, no diagnostic machines, no polished reception desk, and yet it works. With limited resources, they work wonders. If a part isn't available, they don't panic, they don't order it, they create it, fabricating solutions from whatever's at hand. Welding, cutting, rebuilding, adapting. It's ingenuity in its purest form. Out here, you don't wait for parts, you make them. A real lesson in resourcefulness, proof that skill and determination often matter more than equipment.
Good morning. It's 29 degrees. We find ourselves in a town called Chamy, which is in Mauritania. We are on the third day of the Mauritanian leg of the challenge. And as per usual, a few cars have failed, mainly due to getting stuck in the sand, pushing, radiators, clutches, and we find ourselves over here with the French C15 going to the garage behind us, trying to find a head gasket kit, which for a diesel vehicle is quite difficult. Pretty impressive that out of all the cars that we've got, 37 cars, only one of them has got a major problem. The rest of them are all limping on in various degrees of topping up or fixing or putting back together again with cable ties. But in general, everyone's pushing together well. We've had some nice nights in the desert camping. We had a good barbecue the other night. And Mauritania, what a beautifully welcoming country. Everyone's chatty and they're trying their best to assist.
Well, we drove quite fast through the desert. We were proud that we never got stuck, but at the end of the day we realized we heavily damaged the car. So we had a completely broken sump guard. Then we had a crack in the oil sump, which was fixed. And then the connection to the heat exchanger was completely broken. So we had to bypass the heat exchanger completely with the help of two German guys who actually race this kind of Golfs. They rally 24 hours with them. So they helped us last night and now it's running great again.
Not every story on this road ends the way you expect. Israel's car had taken too much punishment. The damage wasn't impossible to repair. But here, in the middle of Mauritania, parts are scarce and times move differently.
Well, yesterday we crossed the border, and after the first camping, we were traveling into the national park here in Mauritania. In the morning, we were like crossing all the dunes and all the sand. The car was working perfectly. All the levels were at the right point. But after 2 o'clock, that we did a lunch break, we start again, and we come across to a different kind of sands that was more loose and was more like a mix between rock and loose sand. And the temperature increased exponentially. We passed from, I think was 40 Fahrenheit to 72 Fahrenheit, or something around 32 degrees in the desert, under the shadows. And well, the car started losing power, increasing the temperature, and it seems like because I didn't like properly stop and check the water, the engine started running without water and boiling the water straight away. Now, when we stop it and check, try to remove the thermostat, it was not the thermostat, it was like the valve on the top. It went out and it's passing water straight to the oil. So now we're trying to check what we need to do exactly to fix it and see if we can finish the challenge, or if we will have to maybe leave the car for in one of those local communities. But so far, it's use a diagnostic and see what we have to do.
The mechanics told us it could be fixed, but it would take around a week. A week we simply don't have. So a difficult decision was made. His car was transported to Nouakchott, where it was donated to a local charity, ensuring it would still serve a purpose, just not the one originally planned. There was disappointment, of course. You grow attached to these cars. They carry your hopes, your effort, your miles. But Israel didn't stop. He packed his bag, climbed into another team's car, and chose to continue the journey to the finishing line without the vehicle he started with. Because this challenge isn't just about the cars, it's about the experience and resilience. We leave town behind and head back into the desert. The dunes rise again around us as we push towards our final base camp. The sand feels familiar now, still challenging but no longer intimidating. After spending days in the desert, we finally reached the coastline. Today we'll be spending our last night in Mauritania, and tomorrow we'll head down to Senegal, described as being the most corrupt and complicated frontier in Africa. Tonight is different. We sleep between desert and sea. A vast, untouched stretch of coastline. It feels as though we're the first people ever to set foot here. The Sahara behind us and the ocean in front of us. For one quiet evening, it feels like it belongs entirely to us. It's our last night in the desert. Tonight's meal is simple. Desert chicken, cooking slowly over open flames and shared between tired hands and sandy boots. There's something fitting about it. No extravagance, no ceremony. Just food earned after days of heat, breakdowns, and teamwork. We sit together between desert and sea, knowing this chapter's closing. Tomorrow, we leave the sand behind. We say goodbye to the desert. It slowly fades in our rearview mirrors as we make our way towards Nouakchott. Our next checkpoint is just outside the Embassy of the United States. We're still very much in the desert. The sand hasn't disappeared, but now there's tarmac beneath our wheels. After days of carving our own tracks through dunes, the smooth black ribbon of road feels almost surreal. The landscape remains sparse at first. Wide horizons, blowing sand, the occasional camel silhouetted against the sky. But gradually, within hours, signs of civilization begin to emerge. A lone building, then a cluster, market stalls. Traffic thickens. The hum of the engines replace the silence of the wind. We're returning to the rhythm of a city. From isolation to movement, from wilderness to capital. The desert is behind us, but its mark remains.
Hi, I'm Elaine. I'm one of the organisers, also Team 28. Today we are meeting all of the teams and crossing over into Senegal. It's one of the complicated borders because we have the 7-year Passavank that we have to fill every single car through to the other side. It's a long, bumpy ride. We go through a big national park with really big craters, so it's a slow, long journey, but it's really pretty, lots of wildlife. And then when we get to the other side, it's a bit of a wait, but I think these guys are used to it now after the last 2 borders. We've got a couple of poorly cars that need towing, so it'll take a bit longer, but hopefully it'll be good.
Before anything else, we do a quick check of the cars. Tires are inspected, fluids topped up. After days in the desert, every bolt and bracket deserves attention. The sand may be behind us, but its effects linger. With engines cooling, we gather for a group briefing. The next leg of the journey takes us across another border, into Senegal. New paperwork, new procedures, new rules.
But you've all done exceptionally well to get to this point here. It's just crazy to think that an end-of-life car, that some of them are almost further down the road, end of life, have managed to make it this far. That's the hardest bit over and done with now. So well done, everybody. Congratulations for getting this far. The next bit is to get out of town, and we follow the road. We go through a bit that smells a bit. We go through some ziggy-zaggy roads. We get out of town. We follow a long, long road. When we get to Diama, this is where I have to get all of your paperwork in and out of the country. From Diama, we go across a bridge, and then on the right-hand side, there's a passport section where everybody has to go and do their passports. The car park behind there, they will ask you to go and park in. Sadly, on that side of the border into Senegal, it's extremely, extremely poor. The kids there are going to be on you like, gimme, 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 because they see people like us coming through and they get gifts and they get bits and pieces. Make sure you lock your doors because they will have their hands in and out of it. It's poverty. It's nothing personal, it's just poverty.
Another line on the map awaits, and once again, we'll cross it as a convoy. To cross into Senegal, there are 2 main entry points for Mauritania. The first is the Rosso border crossing, notorious, chaotic, and often described by travelers as a bandit country. We're told clearly, avoid it at all costs. So instead, we choose to cross together as a group via the Dahama border crossing. It sounds safe, more controlled, more predictable, but it comes with complications of its own. As we push further south, the change is almost immediate. The desert begins to loosen its grip. Endless sand slowly gives way to patches of green. Shrubs appear, then trees and stretches of vegetation that feel almost foreign after days of dunes. The air changes. There's moisture in the heat now, a thickness. The dry, sharp wind of the Sahara is replaced by something more heavier, more tropical. You can feel it on your skin. It's subtle at first, but undeniable. We're leaving the desert behind, and with every kilometer, the land begins to feel more alive. And then the wildlife begins to appear. First, cattle graze calmly by the roadside, then flocks of birds lifting suddenly into the sky. And just when we think we've seen it all, warthogs appear through the bush. The land is alive here, moving, breathing, growing. The journey south isn't just a change in direction. It's a transformation in landscape, in climate, in life itself. The crossing is smooth. After all the anticipation, it happens almost quietly. Stamps fall into place, barriers lift, and just like that, we roll into Senegal. The welcome is immediate, and the energy shifts the moment we arrive in Senegal. There's rhythm in the air, color in every direction, movement that feels spontaneous and electric. After days of sand and silence, it's overwhelming in the best possible way. Africa surprises us once more. We're met not with formality, but with warmth, not with distance, but with openness. And once again, the road reminds us to expect the unexpected. All done. Chaya in Senegal. Next week, on the road, the journey continues as we drive into one of West Africa's most historic and vibrant cities, St. Louis. The adventure takes on a whole new energy as the road south continues.